You want to know what bothers me about stupid fucks and people on YouTube and your type of sense of humor? You take the movie Grey Gardens, and it's about two socialites, mother and daughter, that that are living in the disrepair or the in the ruins of an old mansion. Two spinster cat women that live with raccoons and cats, and their mansion is in a state of disrepair and it's falling apart, and they're not very popular women anymore. They're of the Bouvet clan, which was related to JFK's wife there. And it's sad because they're in the twilight of their lives. They're in the golden years, or her mother is, at least, Edith Bouvier. And this took place in the 70s, and there's a scene where the mother and daughter are reminiscing upon, well, they reminisce upon their lives through the whole movie. The mother's pretty much in bed most of the time, and it looks like there's cockroaches on the walls or flies or something. It's really sad. There's 100 cats everywhere, but it's this big old gorgeous mansion. It's hard to imagine that they live like this. But there's holes in the walls from raccoons, and it's just a state of there's all the gardens have dried up. It's a metaphor for the death of femininity between a mother and daughter, the death of life, the death of youth, the death of innocence, the death of all the things a woman and a little girl are made of. And there's a scene where the mother and daughter are going through her mother's pictures from the 1920s when she was in her 20s, and she was an amateur singer, and she made quite a few records. I guess you could say she was a professional singer, but she's now in her 70s, and she wants to sing a little bit for the camera and sing for her daughter. And she's 70 years old, people. They made a stupid meme about, or a stupid video about it, mocking that scene. She sounded like an old woman singing, not like a, it was very sad. If you watch the movie, for anyone, it's obvious she no longer has her voice. And you're trying to show me like that's me or something. I'm only 40 something, motherfucker. She was putting out records until she in her 40s. And I'll be singing to the day I die, but that's not how I took it. I just took it as only a piece of shit would really try to take away the power, the meaning of that scene. The mother, the daughter watching her, they're going through black and white photos. The daughter accidentally rips a couple photos because they're fighting over them for the camera. And she sings a little song, and she puts her little record on, and she listens to her glory days, and she tries to sing. And she sings about as well as any 70-year-old woman could sing that's in bed. But someone thinks that's funny and had to, recreate the scene. It was obvious that her voice was no longer that of a 20-year-old woman, which my voice is better than I was in my 20s. Fuck yeah. But someday I'll be 70 or 80. And, it was just a very sad scene. Only a little girl or a stupid man would try to take away or detract from that as if it was funny. It was obvious that the curtain was coming down on her life, and, et cetera, and that those days were over. That could be your mother. Would that be funny to you if I redid the scene? It's like making fun of death as it happens. Or, yeah, she's realizing the death of her youth, and reminiscing upon a past chapter. And it's like, we need you to recreate that scene. That scene did fine on its own. I just hate fucking people that are willing to find humor in the obvious and state the obvious eternally and exaggerate the obvious and think they can embellish on it. That's not funny. That movie's not a comedy. How funny is cancer? She was minutes away from dying. When you take the meaning out of a sentimental, sad, could you pick a more, that's like, do you go to funerals and oh my God, the fucking funeral procession was so funny. It's like, it's not really that funny. It's a time to be remembered. It's a time for graduating. It's a time that should you live, you should remember and hold it in your heart. Try to find humor in it. It's not available. Just stupid. It makes me think, I just don't want to be a part of this fucking world. At least this YouTube world sometimes. They're like people like you. It's far too beneath me. It's far too stupid. Believe me, I know comedy. But I also know that none was available for that skit that was redone or even trying to redo it. It wasn't funny. Much like everything you say. Much like everything you say.